I did correct it once I'd sort of done about 5 or 6 rows there. For this part of the field, I did correct the operating width manually so that I was working to just under the width of the mowers rather than the detected width of the windrower.
Hey, you better.
This over here. And this we here floor.
Okay, it's kind of a waste, but I think what I might do is I might go and get one of the other tractors and the cultivator so I can get this part of the field done. So I believe, okay, that's my seeder. Where the heck's my cultivator? Could be over with the cow farm, so we'll jump there. So here's the cow farm. Haven't been here yet today. Hi cow. Cows are all happy. And we have a good, how much have we got here? Oh, 1.2 million litres of silage. That'll keep us going for a while. And here's our cultivator. So what we will do is we will run over here and we'll get the Valtra, which is in a nice shade of purple because everybody needs a purple Valtra. No. Now this tractor is completely incapable of operating that cultivator. What it is capable of doing is hitching to the cultivator and hauling it halfway across the world. So that's what we're going to use it for. And there's my harvester. You can see that. Class Lexion 700. I think it's on the large side. It's not the biggest. But it's sufficient for this farm. I'm getting almost to the point where the number of fields I have, I'm going to need to think about getting a second harvester.
We can have a snack now.
Yay! Can I have a snack now? I like snacks. So typically on this farm I'm using the small tractors. This is actually on the larger size for my tractors, Valtra T, with I think around about 200 horsepower give or take. But using small tractors, I've got a small Massey, I've got a Case 1455. I'll use those to haul, to either work with the small equipment. The Massey is usually used on what is it? The fertilizing equipment, because the fertilizing equipment really doesn't require much weight. Obviously I put a weight on the front of it to counterbalance the spreader, but outside of that it's sufficient for running that particular small job. For putting stuff away, it's easier to use a small tractor because it has a shorter frame and thus a better turn radius than the big tractors. But actually working out on the fields, you kind of need the big tractor. So that's what we're doing here. And this tractor uses 30 litres of gas an hour at cruise, and a big tractor uses about 500. So we'll bring that to here. Since we have so much equipment that does need to go back to the cow farm, I'm going to park this up here because it's going to need to take some of the stuff back. Turn the engine off that. And we'll find that. Now, I must admit, my initial thought here, I was going to plough the entire field. But I think for safety, that would have involved me turning off create fields on the existing field, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. And also, since the plough is smaller than the cultivator, it's going to take longer to cultivate the top end of this field. So we're going to run the cultivator over this. What I'll do, the cultivator is going to cultivate the ploughed ground that we've done so far, but eventually it's going to get to the point where I haven't ploughed and it'll just limit itself to this field. So I'll turn that around there. So unfold that. And I think that's probably going to be sufficient position. Oh no, we missed. Stop. You need to back up. We missed. Okay, that's a better position. So I'll drop that down. We'll run along the edge of the field to get that bit. And then we set the worker loose. Okay, this one was raised. And I need to turn the engine on because we've been away for so long. Flip the plough. So actually, once we've finished ploughing, we're going to have to take the plough and the cultivator back to the main the cow farm, which is where I store the field prep equipment. Oh, somebody's been messing. Oh, we'll allow that. Sorry. Kids messing with stuff. I didn't see chat. Carried on scrolling. So what was that? I've tried several times to use the plough you were using and had nothing but trouble. Push the tractor around or the plough would not straighten out. Yes. Now that is an issue. You need a big tractor. So you're probably... Let's review tractors. Actually, let's review the plough first. So this particular plough is 240 horsepower. So theoretically, let's see, T7 I'm guessing. T-Series 210. Thinking the New Holland T7. It's about 288 horsepower. So realistically, you're probably going to want something in this range. Now I've gone for, where is it, the Class 900, which starts at 320, and that's for a 920. I went for the 940, which is 380 horsepower. This is a big, heavy tractor. It's going to push the plough around, it's not going to let the plough push it around. But technically you could get away with a T7. I would be more inclined to do a New Holland T8. A big heavy tractor. It doesn't have to be super heavy, but it does have to. It's got to have weight. The John Deere 8R. Obviously, I don't have a John Deere 8R on this map, so I can't advise on the John Deere. But I'm guessing the 8R is a heavy tractor. Yeah, it might be you just need something a little bit bigger, a little bit more weight. Also consider sticking a front weight on it. That can help you with balance and traction. but I really haven't got into using this plough on any farm on Farm Sim 19 because obviously I don't have any farms that big and that mature yet. Okay, we'll run to here, we'll turn around, we'll flip the plough. I'm actually going to drop this here. Drive forward, engage the GPS, and hopefully that will form a reasonable. It's close, but I'm going to have to come back and straighten this border out anyway. As you can see, this is much easier to do with GPS than without it. Oh yeah, no, that plough is going to push you around. You're talking, I think I have Big Bud loaded on this. Where is it? As I said, this is the plough I'm using, which only needs 240 horsepower, but I would recommend quite substantially more. This is the biggest plough, needs 300, has a 6.2 working width, but costs 20,000 more than this one. And then this thing here, that's what you need the Big Bud for. It's 550 horsepower.
Dad! Hello.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, here I am.
Mom said it, give it to you.
Yes, because we need that. So, it is not possible to sell fields in Farm Sim 17. At least not without a mod. There is a mod called the Bank of Hagenstadt, which does let you sell land. Yeah, I think as far as I'm concerned, this plough is good for this farm. It covers my needs when I need to plough a field on the periodic ploughing. When I'm not periodically ploughing, I'm using that setup, the 940 with the 12-metre cultivator. But with the tractors I have, I've got both of my tractors have 380 horsepower. Obviously, this one I've had for now 127 hours of usage. And the farm's been going for about 500 hours of playtime. So I use this tractor about 25% of the time. But yeah, this was kind of the plough, and I can get this to turn around 180 degrees, but I don't usually. No, stay off my leg. Thank you. Quit messing, or you're getting down. There we go.
Anything.
Because of the way the plough flips and the wheel is so far back, you can actually get the tractor to turn around in the width of the ploughed land.
Holy, that wasn't me.
That was Daddy.
Wasn't me.
It was Daddy.
Oh,
Let me
Daddy.
drop that.
Daddy. Ow. Daddy did that.
No, the value. Well, no, the value goes up over time with seasons. I think the maintenance cost technically does go up if you're playing regular, but with seasons, you have to maintain your tractor every year, and the maintenance costs you know, it's still reasonable. It's a couple of thousand every year, or every 30 hours, depending which one comes which one comes first. I think what we're going to try here. You both need to be right there. Careful. Okay. I think what I'm going to do at the end of this row is I'm going to actually freeform the edge of the field. Yes. Giants because season. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Farm Sim 17 came out at the end of 2016, and for the first anniversary, they ran a mod competition, which anybody could enter, to provide a mod for Farm Sim and enter it in a competition, and they basically won stuff. Seasons 1, and not really surprising. And because of that, part of the sort of promise that Giants made was they would help the mod be released into the game. And because Seasons 1 contains a lot of scripting, they had to enable seasons for the consoles, which typically they would, if a mod contains any scripting, it's not available on the console. It takes too much work. So Giants actually made some changes to the base code in order to support seasons. So yes, you can get seasons on the console. So this is about the limit I'm planning to run with this field. Now I don't want to go too far over that way because I want to line it up obviously with the field that exists. So we'll come back to here and continue the ploughing. And that's the ploughage, so turn the thing back on, drop the plough, and hopefully we will not leave a gap. And we didn't. Yeah, if I didn't have the overlap of 20 centimetres, we would have ended up with a patch where no grass or no plough had gone. And since I'm going to reseed this as grass anyway, it's probably not a significant problem that I miss a bit. Get off the keyboard.
Huh?
Sorry, technical issues. Small children leaning on keyboards. You need to lean back. You're pushing stuff. Okay. So, why am I doing Aberdeenshire? Because it's a good map. I've had a lot of fun in this map. We've now got about 500 hours played on this map. I've played some of the other English maps, obviously Chellington, Colburn Park Farm. I did take a look at Oakfield Farm, but this is the farm I've enjoyed playing the most, and so since it's the most progressed farm, I'm actually using it to finish out the achievements for Farm Sim 17. We need another cow bred.
I want to be on your lap.
No, just sit on the chair. Yes, and that's where this farm is based. If you Google map for Lawfolds in Aberdeenshire, you will find the area that this farm is based upon. I don't think it's an exact representation, but it is a fun farm to play. So you live close to the base area where this farm happens.
Google Map.
Google Maps. So, does anybody else have any questions?
Huh?
Seasons and Xbox mods. Yes, so we covered Seasons being an Xbox mod. It's basically a sandbox farming game. At the moment, I am ripping up a pasture of grassland in order to replant it as grass, so that I can fertilise it and get more grass off of the field. And yes, hello, Mr. IIKHAO. Is this a mod? The map is a mod. The tractor that you see currently is a mod, and the plough isn't. The map itself was released very early in the life cycle of Farm Sim 17.
I just jumped on the meadows.
And since this map was released, I haven't actually seen any other mods by the map maker, so we're not going to see it in Farm Sim 19 at all. Which is a shame, because I've kind of enjoyed playing this.
There.
And if I wasn't a computer programmer, I would probably, or I would
wouldn't
possibly
mess with that. I will
learn how to make
I
mods
wouldn't mess with that.
in order to convert this over to Farm Sim 19, although I probably then couldn't play this farm on a stream, because it's not my work. It's the guy who originally made it. What am I doing? Where is it? That mountain in the distance. Yes, we see the mountain in the distance.
Yeah. Say miles.
Oh, the guidelines? Yes, this is the GPS mod
Yes.
running.
Brenda.
I've got a couple of quality of living mods.
Brenda.
Up at the top left of the screen we have what in Farm Sim is known as the Vehicle Inspector. In this game I think it's known as Glance, but it basically shows you what all the equipment you have on the farm is currently doing at the moment. At the moment there's me in this class 940 that is ploughing, and as soon as I drop the plough it will say I'm ploughing.
Rolling.
And the other 940 that's coming down the strip to the left of us, which is cultivating. Other warnings we have at the moment is I have 126 sheep, and it seems to get a little bit worried when I've got more than 100. I have 155 pigs, and they have a lot of manure, so it's a little bit worried about that. The number of cows I have, it's not so worried about, but it is worried about the level of manure that's in their locality. And we'll probably be using some of that later in the fall into fertilise some of our fields.
She's meat and she's meat. Those two are meat and that.
So these two pieces of equipment seem to be running about the same speed. So we might get into a little bit of a conflict with the other 940 on our next pass.
Say super to them. And
top right I have a real-time clock, so you can actually see it's 10:33 where I live. I think that covers... Oh, and top middle is a compass heading, which the tractor is driving in. If I move the field of view, it's just showing the direction the tractor is pointing in. And before I loaded GPS and started learning how to use that, I used to use the compass to determine when I was driving approximately north, approximately east or west, etc.
Pick a parley.
So, what
Then,
does seasons do?
No. Then
Seasons changes the game.
Charlotte.
With the standard
Charlotte.
game, you can plant at any time, you can plough at any time. So basically, you cycle through your fields. Seed a field, let it grow, fertilise it, plant, harvest it, rinse and repeat. Seasons makes that cycle more structured. You prepare a field in the spring, and then you plant it, and then you have to wait till it's harvestable, and it won't be harvestable until fall. You harvest it, and then you have to leave the field fallow for the winter. You can define how many days in a season. I've got mine set to 6. So we're currently early fall, day 2, so it's the last day of early fall for me. And then tomorrow will be mid-autumn, or mid-fall, and will indicate day 3 of the fall period. The day after that will also be mid-fall, day 4, and then your late fall, late autumn. And then it turns to winter. Now, if I don't get all my crops out of the ground by winter, they'll be destroyed because it's too cold. Let's do this. There are specific planting periods. So this green bar tells me when I can plant something. The yellow bar tells me when I can harvest it. And so this is the time of year that I can plant wheat. I can plant it now, but I want to wait until day 5 or day 6 of fall so that it hasn't broken the surface before winter. If you'll notice, soybeans and corn plant late spring, early summer, and I still can't harvest those. So, quit messing or you're getting down. The plough is lowered, we've still got GPS on, so I can carry on. Do I play other games? Yes, I play ETS and ATS. We alternate the streams on that, and it is a multiplayer stream on Thursdays. Farm Sim 19 I play during the week. This is my fun game. I've played it for, as I said, about 500 hours. So we've got a lot of fields, we've got a lot of equipment, we've got big equipment, which you don't usually find with a starting farm. Hands off. Hands off.
I'm not touching.
Yeah, shush. And we stream World of Warships on a Monday. I do play World of Warships at other times. I occasionally stream it. Sometimes I just play it offline, or at least off stream. Since there's a promotion going on in World of Warships, I'm playing a little bit more World of Warships than I usually do. I used to play World of Tanks. I quit playing that. That's mainly the games that I play the most of. I see.
Daddy had it over there.
Quit messing. Quit messing. And you quit messing too. Run up to the end here. So, what's the aim of this game? The aim of this game is basically to make money. You make money by planting crops and harvesting the crops, or growing animals. And oops, didn't want to do that right there, but that doesn't matter because we'll be coming through there later. And it's basically a management type of game where I'm deciding what crops I want to grow in order to make the best return for money. And this is where we're going to get into conflict with the other tractor. Like that. So we're going to have to jump out, and the little person's going to have to sit up there again. And we're going to have to jump into that tractor. Left the cultivator. Left. Turn off the helper. Left the cultivator. There we go. So yeah, all I'm trying to do is make money. Now obviously as I make the money, I'm buying more land to increase the amount of money I'm making over time. I'm buying animals, as the animals breed, I'm selling them. I'm buying bigger and better equipment so I can do the job faster. And it's basically a progression thing. Much like a lot of games of this style. So if we drop this here, whoa, back up. And tell the worker to get going. So there we go. He is now going to cultivate the rest of that field without getting in my way. And we need to find the other class. Drop that, turn the engine back on again, and turn GPS. Now, obviously the problem there was I left that tractor for too long, and if you don't stick with it or close by it, the engine turns off automatically. This is a bit of annoyance, because obviously I'm still working this particular tractor. Anyway, let's get back to... That looks like the next row we want to be on, and I will drop the plough in spite of the fact that's not really realistic. But it will follow the contour of the ground I've already ploughed. I'm from the United Kingdom. My grandparents, I have Welsh grandparents, grandparents from Derbyshire, grandparents from southern England, and I was born just outside London. However, I live in Michigan, and I've travelled around quite a bit. 1999, my wife and I moved to California. About 2002, we moved... 2003 maybe. We moved to Texas. And then around about 2008 to 2009 we moved to Michigan. And in spite of the fact I've been here for now 20 years, I haven't lost my accent. Or at least I haven't lost much of my accent. I'd probably sound a little bit different if I went back to England. But, oh, and hello Deflected, welcome to the stream. I don't think I said hello to you yet. And for, I was covering what sort of quality of life mods I'm running. I'm also running a mod called Follow Me, which would allow me to run a tractor doing a job or something, and then have a worker follow me precisely. Now typically what I use that for is if I've got a field of wheat or barley, I'll stick a tractor with a baler behind it to bale up the straw as the harvester's going. Or if I'm cutting the grass here, I'll have a tractor behind me running a baler so I can bale up the grass as I'm driving. So it allows me to control two tractors at the same time. Now, because it's a worker, I do actually have to pay the salary of the guy driving the following tractor. But I don't have to do all the job at once. The other option is the in-game option of helpers, which I've got that other tractor working, and it will work within a defined field. as soon as it detects the edge of a field, it'll stop, turn around and go back the other way until it completes the field. If the field's square enough, it will do all of it. The problem with Farm Sim 17, not quite to the same extent in 19, you have to, they will do slightly diagonal fields, but occasionally they just can't cope and will either say I'm done when they're not really, or skip little triangles along the edge. Yeah, I'm getting on a bit, and we are foster parents to 2 girls, and I'm going to be retired before either one of them gets married. So that's going to be interesting if we end up adopting them, which is a distinct possibility. And that's the noisy in-studio audience. But since they came into our life, that's going to be a feature of all future Saturday streams. I think what I'll do is I'll hand do this edge as well, so it's a little bit wider, and then I don't have to worry about filling in the gaps. That should be fine for now. Flip the plough. Now, as far as playing this game, you can either play the game as a game, or you can try to be a little bit more realistic. Since it is a game, you can't be entirely realistic, and obviously time is quite compressed. As I said, we've got 6 days per season, and a season is normally 90 days, so I've got to do the work of 90 days in 6 days. I'm running in real-time mode, but occasionally I will change the passage of time, multiples 5, 15, 30, 60, 120. So you can play 1 second equals 2 hours, or... no, is that right? Yeah, 1 second equals... 1 minute equals 2 hours. Oh, I can't think. 1 second equals 2 minutes. Yeah, so you the fastest you can have time passing is 1 second equals 2 minutes. At the moment I'm playing in real time, and that's because if you look at the top right of the screen, that panel there is telling me we're in fall. The ground temperature is 12 degrees, the air temperature is 10 degrees, and it's going to rain soon. And when it rains, I'm going to have to stop ploughing, because otherwise the tractor will get stuck in the dirt, and that won't be a good thing. And then we're going to have to wait till the ground dries out a little bit. If it wasn't planning to rain anytime soon, I would probably push the time up to ×5, so that we can get this task done, because it's kind of the only task I have to do today. And Helper Q has completed their task, so that probably means the cultivator's done, and he finished down the other end of the field. And none of the work I'm doing at the moment is making me any money whatsoever. However, what I am doing here, making this field bigger and then replanting it as grass, is going to increase my income next year. And it's taken me 5 years to get round to doing this. And that is in part because I was relying purely on my grass to feed all my sheep and my cattle. And at the end of last year, I created some silage that we saw earlier, 1.2 million litres of silage in the bunker down by the cow farm. So I don't quite have to rely on as much grass to feed the cows as normal. It would let me plough when it's raining. The only thing you can't do when it's raining is harvest I believe grass or cereal crops. You can harvest beets and you can harvest potatoes, but it's you kind of then look at it, it's not realistic, so I kind of step down at that point and say, well, kind of for the point of realism, I'm going to try and not to do stuff when it's raining that I shouldn't really be doing. The game will prevent you from harvesting with a regular harvester. But, technically speaking, the ground gets too wet. This tractor is going to sink into the ground. The plough is going to get clogged up and not work too well, so we quit at that point. Because I've got seasons running, hay and straw is destroyed when it rains. Progressively, so it doesn't just disappear like that. It takes a little bit of time, but the volume of hay and straw will reduce over time. However, there's a little bit of a difference between maps that are prepared for the seasons mod and maps that aren't. This map is not prepared for the seasons mod. And so what happens with that is a prepared map basically tells seasons where all the buildings are. And so you have to put straw and hay into a barn, loose or baled, to prevent it from being destroyed. If it's out in a field, whether loose or in baled form, it would get eliminated. Because Seasons doesn't know where my barns are because the map hasn't been modified to tell it, I don't have to put baled straw or hay away, but any loose hay or straw will be destroyed no matter where I leave it. So I can't put loose hay or straw in a barn and it remain in one piece if it rains. The bales do, and the bales wouldn't get destroyed out on a field either. However, once again, for realism and to honour the ideals of the Seasons mod, I make sure that all of my hay and straw is put away in a barn before any rain comes. So in a situation like this where rain is imminent, I don't want to be mowing, because as soon as the rain starts, technically any bales should be destroyed over the course of time. At least the volume would be destroyed, so I would probably want to basically throw away 20% of my bales after a rainstorm. So I try and get them all under cover and not cut grass when rain is imminent. Now, you'll see from the predictor up the top there, rain is due sometime soon. Sun will be following. So obviously before a rainstorm happens, it's the other way around. I'll have sun now and rain is coming. So I may consider cutting the grass at that point or doing a regular harvest at that point. However, as soon as the icon switches over so that the rain is the big icon, I'll tidy up what I'm doing and basically say, okay, for safety of the crop, we kind of need to stop what we're doing now, get it all under cover, and wait until the rain passes. Now, jobs like ploughing, it doesn't matter if it rains or doesn't, but obviously as the ground gets wetter, technically the tractor would sink into the ground. So we can carry on ploughing all the way up to the point where it starts raining, but at that point we probably want to start thinking about getting out the tractor and leaving it in the field. I don't think there's any problems with us not bringing the tractor off the field, because it's sitting over dry ground and the ground underneath it is going to kind of stay. Whoops. Okay, let's try that one again. I forgot to engage the GPS, so we're a bit off kilter there. And there we go again. So this time I've actually turned the GPS on, and we'll lower it. And GPS usage is actually realistic. You can control a tractor if it's wired incorrectly for GPS control, and that little dome at the top, at the front of the cab there, indicates